It's tough to escape the jaws of a predator when you don't see it coming. This is the brilliantly camouflaged ambush hunter, known as a stargazer. It buries its foot-long body in the sand, leaving only its face exposed.
There are more than 3,000 known species of aquatic beetles. Among them, the great diving beetle, which lives in ponds and lakes throughout the northern hemisphere. Besides a streamlined body, its most obvious adaptation to underwater life is a pair of feathered rear legs that have evolved into oars and help it maneuver underwater. But without gills, the great diving beetle cannot breathe water and periodically has to come up to the surface in order to take in air. It traps the air beneath its wing case, which it uses like a scuba tank. This bubble of air allows it to stay submerged for about 30 minutes. Like an underwater wolf, it hunts sick and weak water dwellers, and also eats carrion. It has short but sharp mandibles and can inject digestive enzymes into its prey. This monstrous-looking creature is the larval form of the great diving beetle. It's a fast, agile swimmer and also a voracious underwater hunter. But like the adults, it must return to the surface to breathe. In the spring, its main food source is tadpoles. However, after millions of years of success, these beetles are struggling. Dwindling amphibian populations in Central Europe make life harder for the great diving beetles. With food in ever shorter supply, who knows how long they will survive?
As the dry season drags on, all the wildebeest herds are struggling. And lions make the most of the opportunity. The calf is hardwired not to leave his mother's side. But his mother has been killed, and he remains close to her body. For now, these two lions aren't interested in the calf. But alone, he has little chance of survival. The wildebeest kill has enough meat to keep the lions satisfied for a day or two. But when they're hungry again, the calf will make a quick and easy meal. It's the harsh reality of life here at the end of the dry season.
Above ground, dwarf crocs live by the rule of little and often, snacking on frogs, fish, crustaceans, and insects. They adapt their diet to what's in season. What will it be today? Catfish. Lightning quick, he knows chasing them down would be fruitless. So he opts for Plan B. Sit and wait. Let the fish come to you. He can hold his breath for over 4 hours. A flap of skin in the throat closes his windpipe, so he doesn't drown. Sensory pits around the jaw and along his sides detect tiny pressure changes in the water, allowing him to feel the movements of his prey. What the catfish thinks is a submerged log is actually a camouflaged killer. Crocs can't swallow underwater. He has to surface to eat. His highly acidic stomach will do the rest, able to break down flesh, scales, and bones.
It is a place as intriguing as it is beautiful. Roughly 20 miles off the coast of West Africa, Bioko sits alone in the Atlantic Ocean. A volcanic relic now blanketed in equatorial rainforest. The island has been cut off from the mainland for 12,000 years. Today, it hosts some of the rarest species in the world, including the drill. The secret life of these shy, endangered primates is now revealed for the first time. Motuku, a large male, dominates this part of the forest. He is a king, as his name implies in the indigenous Bubi language. He sits at the head of this large troop, a family group of around 10 females, daughters, and adolescent males. These notoriously reclusive animals aren't habituated to humans. This first intimate glimpse reveals it is a male-dominated society. As alpha, Motuku jealously guards his females from all challengers. His daughters will likely stay with the troop all their lives, but he will kick his sons out when they reach breeding age, around 6 years old. It's November, the beginning of the dry season on Bioko. 40 miles to the north lies Malabo, the capital city of Equatorial Guinea. But the further south you go on the island, the denser the rainforest becomes,
and the fewer humans have set foot there. Sunlight is at a premium in Bioko's ancient jungle. Trees battle each other to soar high into the canopy, which is alive with rare species, like the great blue turaco. Down on the forest floor, it's raining fruit. The troop's having breakfast. Motuku helps himself to a little manna from heaven. The troop has just welcomed its newest member, a young male, barely visible as he clings to his mother, perched on a rock. His name is Sipoti, the little one. His mother, Tiki, is one of the highest-ranked females in the group, so Sipoti will be a pampered little forest prince. He's more precious than his mother knows. There are as few as 3,000 drills left in the wild, most of them living in a tiny patch of forest on the mainland.
On the vertical face of an old hot spring, dawn erupts in a frenzy. Cliff swallows migrate thousands of miles from wintering grounds in South America. They live life on the wing, visiting the ground only when they must, to collect something simple but crucial: mud. They ferry tiny droplets back to the cliff, gradually constructing their home for the season. Each nest is built from 1,000 individual pellets, which means 1,000 trips to the river. Hard work. But not everyone is so industrious. Some will try to steal from a neighbor. Leaving a nest unattended is risky. Partners exchange guard duty, and short trips out are best. At this colony of swallows, visitors lend a helping hand. As herds of bison move, they transform the landscape. All around the cone of the dormant spring, the bison churn the earth. Even the playful calves do their part. Stirring the mud. Making a perfect mix. With the bison's help, the cliff swallows have a shorter commute, which means more time for work. The result is rapid expansion. The swallow's construction project lasts for about a week. They'll lay their eggs even before the mud has dried.
A spider wasp. The wasp feeds on pollen and nectar, but she hunts as well, and wolf spiders are a favorite quarry. The wasp is relentless. The spider can run, but it cannot hide. With one venomous bite, the wasp renders the spider immobile. It's alive, but no longer kicking. While its zombified victim awaits its fate, the wasp prepares a true chamber of horrors. She'll drag the paralyzed spider into the hole, lay a single egg on her victim's abdomen, then seal up the entrance. When the egg hatches, the young wasp will feed on the zombie spider. But there's a wrinkle in her plan. Ants have spotted the paralyzed spider, and they have hungry little mouths to feed back in their own nest. The spider wasp's underground nursery is finally complete, but she's too late to stop the thieves. The spider wasp searches frantically for the missing spider. She's so agitated, she makes a fatal misstep. The hunter becomes the hunted. Sucked into the lair of the antlion as one brute finishes off another.
Malaika is an African huntress at the top of her game. Her ambush techniques are ingenious. Having dragged this carcass up the tree, she's gorging herself. The female hyena is already here, the matriarch of a clan of bandits that use Malaika as their regular meal ticket. She missed out on stealing the full carcass today, but she's counting on the leftovers. But Malaika has an enemy far greater than the hyenas. Her nemesis. And hiding up a tree won't protect her if he arrives. That's him. His call sends the hyena packing. A few dregs of meat are not worth the risk. Malaika's desperate to climb higher, but doesn't want to lose her carcass. It won't budge. Too late. He's found her. The male leopard easily commandeers the kill with his superior size and strength. Her protests make little difference. It's not her kill anymore. She's too scared to fight him. A savage attack from him last year left her limping. That fight branded her for life. His claws sliced open her right flank, and when the wound healed, it left a star, a fitting emblem. Ironically, it's this constant harassment and thieving that spurs her to excellence. because if she doesn't make multiple kills, she won't get enough to eat.
Patterns in the sand give their creator the sweet common name of doodlebug. But there's nothing cute about them. Less than half the size of your little fingernail, these insects are the larval form of a lacewing, and they are voracious predators. Huge pincer-like jaws are vicious weapons, perfect for grabbing prey. Their hunting prowess has given rise to their other common name, ant lions. Each of these miniature killers digs a tiny pit, about 2 inches deep. It's carefully constructed, so the sides are at a critical angle. They'll collapse at the slightest disturbance. All he needs to do now is wait. Ants are found in every habitat in the world except the poles. And here in the tropics can make up by weight as much as 25% of all animal life. There are plenty of them, and they're ideal prey. This ant's making a heroic bid for freedom. But it's not easy to escape an ant lion's cunning. Flicking sand destabilizes the pit wall. Injecting venom paralyzes its prey, and enzymes digest the ant from the inside out. The ant lion sucks its meal dry, as though drinking juice through a straw. And when it's done, it throws the empty carton away.
A young hornet queen who survived the winter has found a suitable tree hole to start a new colony. She must start from scratch, single-handedly, build the nest, forage for food, lay the eggs, feed her growing larvae. It's a round-the-clock job, and it lasts for weeks. Finally, 14 days after laying her first egg, the hard work pays off. Returning to the nest with food, she finds her first hatchling, which immediately starts looking after its sibling larvae. Now, the queen has a nanny in the nursery. She's still the breadwinner, bringing food she pre-chews for the infants. But they both share feeding duties. A few days later, she gets a second helper. There are many hungry mouths to feed. 2 or 3 days after they pupate, new workers will join the hunt for food.
The osprey is a specialist. Evolved for life on the water, she preys exclusively on live fish. She spots her target from above with vision that cuts through the glare on the river's surface. A miss, but her hunt is just beginning. Still, she has nothing for the chicks. But in a quiet lake, her mate has found a better opportunity. Here, each summer, trout gather to spawn. They're occupied with the task at hand, laying their eggs, and oblivious to the osprey's approach. He heads for home. But his catch is not safe yet. A peregrine falcon, the world's fastest bird, is after his prize. Today's attack is unusual. Peregrines are superb hunters on the wing, but they're not known as thieves. Against the superior flyer, the osprey has only one tactic that might work: ditching into the water, where the peregrine can't follow. Thanks to his evasive maneuver, he has something to bring his waiting chicks.
This hairy frogfish has better luck. She's an expectant mother and has more at stake than just an empty stomach. She tucks behind the coral and waits. Her mouth balloons to 12 times its original size, creating a vacuum to suck in the prey. The entire process takes just 1/6000th of a second. Far too quick for the prey to react. It's the fastest bite in the animal kingdom. It's tough to escape the jaws of a predator when you don't see it coming. This is the brilliantly camouflaged ambush hunter, known as a stargazer. It buries its foot-long body in the sand, leaving only its face exposed. The stargazer is a stealth predator. It sits as motionless as a stone, then waits patiently for its next meal. Its specialized gills ensure that not one grain of sand is disturbed by its breathing. The stargazer swallows its prey whole.
Weighing in at some 150 pounds, this alligator snapping turtle finds a calm spot. He earns his calories by becoming just another rock on the bottom. His special sense organs taste the presence of prey in the murky water. Just say, "ah," to set the trap. The worm-shaped appendage on the tip of his tongue, called a vermiform, lures in a curious fish. One wrong move could give him away. It's lunchtime in the Mississippi River. The alligator snapping turtle's incredible vice-like beak can tear through flesh and shatter bone.
Clownfish deal with the problem of overcrowding by sharing space with another creature, gigantic anemones. They've formed a relationship in which both parties benefit. Anemones have tentacles that are packed with stinging cells. Most fish, touching one, get a very nasty sting. But not the clownfish, thanks to the protective layer of mucus that covers its body. The clownfish keeps the anemone in good health by removing unwanted parasites. And in return, the anemone offers security. Its stinging cells ward off the sort of creatures which would otherwise threaten the clownfish. When the time comes for a pair to breed, that protection will be vital. A female may lay up to 1,000 eggs on the rock beneath her anemone home. As she delicately attaches them, the male follows closely behind, fertilizing the eggs as he goes. A week will pass before the young are ready to emerge. Hatching only happens at night, so to record it, we have to use infrared cameras in a specialized filming environment. This is the very first time that this behavior has been filmed. With gentle encouragement from their father, the young are helped on their way. Once the little larvae are set free, they're on their own. They'll spend the first few weeks of their life developing in the open ocean.